Bueno, chavales, hoy os traigo el Edith Finch. Así que bueno, chavales, vamos a empezar con este primer vídeo de en directo. Perdón. Y bueno, primera partida que juego al Edith Finch en PS5. Tenéis este juego tanto en PS4 como en PS5, así que aprovechadlo. Yo de vosotros lo aprovecharía, chavales, porque el juego mola un montón. Me lo he pasado entero. Vale, me lo he pasado entero y este juego no es de terror ni de nada extraño, es un juego de historias. Es un juego pues que va de historias, no hay nada de terror ni nada de... no hay nada. O sea que no hay nada de terror ni nada de... no tiene nada de eso. O sea, es un juego en donde tú controlas a una chica. ¿Vale? Y yo todavía tengo las llaves, como estáis viendo ahí. De todas formas es un juego entretenido, así que si lo queréis ver lo voy a subir completo ahora mismo. O sea, lo voy a tener completito, no me va a faltar nada. Por cierto, chicos, recuerdo, si tenéis PlayStation Plus Extra o Premium, o sea, si tenéis el PlayStation Plus Extra, podéis jugar a este juego. Es que hace como 2-3 años que no juego, o sea, es la primera vez que vuelvo a jugar. Y generalmente que hay una versión para PS5, pues ya se me hacía algo extraño. Este es un juego que no sé cuánto dura, pero sus horas de juego tiene. O sea, que yo creo que hasta la tarde no lo vamos a completar. Pero bueno, vamos a ver qué tal, chavales. Perdón, otra cosa por levantarme, o sea, por hacer directo tan tarde, que ya son las 11, debería haber hecho directo a las 10, como siempre, pero me quedo un poquito más en la cama. Así que ya sabéis, perdonad, chavales, por hacer directo tan tarde.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
A ver. Si a veces que me callo es para que escuchéis a la chica hablar, ¿vale, chavales? Esta casa está más abandonada.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house. I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't. Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Había un método para entrar, pero no me acuerdo cuál. Bueno, había un esto para entrar, pero no sé si era por la puerta del garaje. Porque por detrás no había, ¿no? Esta puerta, a ver. Bueno, ha entrado por el garaje, da igual.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Ni tan mal, ¿eh?
For the first time in
Qué calidad
years,
gráfica.
I felt like I was home. But instead of a family, there were just memories of one. Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house. The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone. My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Vale, pues vamos a la planta de arriba, yo creo.
After Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got pretty sick of salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Vamos para arriba, chavales. Porque aquí creo que no hay que hacer nada todavía.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes. My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Claro que sí. Claro que sí. Gregory.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Claro. Steven y Eddie.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Vale, y ahora...
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara. Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Bárbara.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
Vamos por aquí, chavales.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Es verdad, este cable llevaba aquí. Pero no me acuerdo qué había dentro. La única habitación que está abierta.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
¿Esta llave funcionará, no? ¿Para esto? Sí, funciona. Vale, ábrelo.
Turns out,
Vamos
my
a
mom was
abrirlo.
really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Subimos esto. Pasamos por aquí. Luego lugar para esconderse.
Maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
Luego
But I
lugar
had
para
no
esconderse.
idea what was behind
Tiene
the
aquí.
door.
Vale, primera habitación, chavales.
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the
Mi
peephole.
primera habitación, Molly. Ahí está el diario de Molly.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen.
Primera historia.
It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Vaya. Hombre, si la dejas sin comer. Ostras.
I kept eating and eating.
Pues, si tiene tanta hambre, haber comido algo.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Haberla puesto algo de comer. Porque vamos.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her.
Ahora se cae para abajo y muere. ¿Te
And
imaginas?
suddenly, I was a cat.
Ah, vale, verdad,
I
era...
tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
¿Cómo se saltaba al mantener este, no? Sí. No sé por dónde hay que ir, pero entiendo que hay que ir por aquí. O por aquí o por algún lado. Ay, Dios mío. No me acuerdo ni por dónde había que ir. Fíjate. Pajarito. Casi. Pajarito.
I jumped and I almost got her.
Sí, claro, y luego...
I could tell she was getting really tired.
A ver, esto es por aquí. ¿Y era para dónde? Claro, quería ir a por el este.
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
Vamos.
I gobbled her up.
La engruñí y me
And
morí.
suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Esta parte me va a costar mucho, ¿eh? Esta parte es como que, no sé. Esta parte me va a costar muchísimo.
Rabbits.
Conejos, ¿dónde? Conejo, conejo, conejo.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
Se lo comió. Cuando aparezca otro conejo, hay que estar... Es que esto
A
me
mama
costó.
rabbit.
¿Qué ha dicho? Una mamá conejo. Espérate que la pido. El gran búho, trofeo ganado.
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Madre mía. Un tiburón por un bosque. Qué imaginación tiene esta niña, ¿no? Menuda imaginación que tiene esta niña.
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
Si no me puedo mover. Si es que no... Me quedo aquí y no me puedo mover. ¿Sabes? Si le pudiera alcanzar al pez este...
I wanted fat, juicy seals.
Ahora sí me puedo mover. Vente para
Tore
acá.
off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Y estaba deliciosa. Madre mía, tenía tanta hambre esta niña. Que vamos, por comer lo que sea. Lo he perdido al pez ese, ¿no? Está más abajo. Es que no puedo mirar para abajo. Intento mover al este, no. Y no, tío, no me deja moverlo para abajo. O sea, mirar. Mirar para abajo, mira. ¿Ves? Porque como no hay nada... Ah, sí. Lo que pasa es que, claro, ¿lo he pillado? No, no. Me ha asustado. Creo que se ha asustado. ¿Dónde está? Pues nada, chavales, se ha asustado. Encima lo peor es que para pasar esto tengo que hacer completarme esto. ¿Por qué no baja abajo? Si es que no baja abajo. No baja. Ahora sí. Bueno, es que claro, si no estuvieran los
Wrapped
controles
on tight. I was so
invertidos.
When I opened my eyes, everything had changed. Now I was a monster and I smelled people everywhere.
Ahora era un monstruo. El barco pero no tenga copyright
I was
canción.
bleeding and I moved real quiet. I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Bueno, no, soy un pulpo, soy un pulpo. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Marinero borracho. Marinero... Claro, la censuran para que no sea fuerte para YouTube. Porque llega a ser fuerte para YouTube. Para atrás, tranquilo.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Así que nadé hasta allí.
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an
Madre mía, lo
old
que
pipe.
se comió la niña. No sé ni lo que se comió. Luego, claro, luego que cuando se despierte por la mañana, si se llega a despertar. No sé si se llega a despertar por la mañana.
I got closer and closer.
¿A dónde? Andy, closer and closer. Andy, closer and closer.
All my stomach started growling.
Mis estómagos empezaron a hacer ruido y de repente volví a ser yo.
I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Qué guay.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Vale, pues siguiente historia, ¿no? Ya os digo, es de ir avanzando, ir pasando historias
This
e
will be
ir
obvious
haciendo...
later, but my mom
cosas.
never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though,
Ahora había que
when we
entrar,
adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and
por su
misfortune.
fortuna y su desgracia.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse. his wife Ingeborg, and their newborn son, Johann. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
Y ya está. Pero ya está, ¿no? O sea... Ah, no, no terminado.
Odin's daughter Edith,
No
with
terminado.
husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Y ya está.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Yo creo que... A ver si había que hacer algo más. Creo que no, ¿eh?
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
Aquí otra llave. Secret bathroom. Vale. Abrimos esto. Si sé abrirlo.
There's a secret in this bathroom.
Hay un secreto en este
It's in the
bathroom.
last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Vamos, que se abría la trampilla esta.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Claro que sí. Y aquí como me agacha... Ah, bueno, se agacha solo. Se agachaba solo. Vale.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
Bueno, claro, es que había que subir por aquí. Había que ir por aquí.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
Calvin.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he would remember my brother, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, he swore he'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Anda que también por un columpio al lado del mar.
Calvin! Dinner's ready!
Coming! But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Diciendo que podía saltar. O sea, saltar, moverse. Pero va este chaval y dice, pues quiero dar la vuelta.
The day he made up his mind fell.
Y de repente murió.
He did.
Se fue volando por ahí y murió.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar.
En el
When I was
61
younger,
murió
I
este.
remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Guardando.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Por por Sam. Esto ya está, ¿no? No voy aquí para... Madre mía, pero una casa llena de secretos, tú. Tiene más
The
secretos que la
passages were
mía.
a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Mira, por aquí se podía salir y no se habían dado cuenta de que había que un pasadizo. Literal.
Growing
Literal,
up,
que no se había dado
I
cuenta de
always
que había
thought
un
of
pasadizo.
Barbara as a child star. I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Está aquí. Wikipedia or story
Of
Barbara
all the
Finch.
stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Otra historia, chavales.
Here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate
Como
family.
estáis viendo, son varias
I'm
historias
calling it
y
the
cosas
surprise
así.
ending of Barbara Finch.
Va yendo así las historias. Es un juego que
As
combina...
a
Bueno, que tiene varias
child
historias.
star, Barbara was
Y va así el
famous
juego.
for her scream.
Va así. Tiene varias historias y
Now at
lo han hecho
16,
así.
she was all washed up, a has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara
Tiene que
went
haber
to
ido
look
con
for
ella.
him,
Literal.
right on cue.
Literalmente tenía que haber tirado con él.
She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Lo ves, no da nada de miedo porque no es así nada del este.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Claro que sí. Ahora sí que
The
allí.
fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the Late Picture Show. Hours later...
Ahora después...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Sí, pues no creo que sea una artimaña, ¿eh? Y eso que está cerrado. ¿Te imaginas?
Walter vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Ostras, pues lo tiene detrás.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
Corre.
Night.
No ves, como ya he dicho, no da miedo. Son historias bastante interesantes.
She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it.
Ay, ¿ahora por dónde tengo que ir?
Molly's door years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Desde luego. Desde luego que sí. Yo temería si me entrase alguien a casa, desde luego. Y ahora boom.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
¿La puerta? Si estás tú, que voy a abrir. Para que aparezca el hombre de engancho.
Dying to speak to young Barbara.
¿No hay nadie, no, en la puerta?
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
Vaya.
Bravo, Barbara! You were wonderful!
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true.
Claro.
And she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to
Me mataron.
final breath. Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Oh,
Magníficamente muerta, desde luego.
she had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear.
oreja.
That's what I call a real
Solo contaron su...
eerie tale.
Esa historia es para verle las orejas al lobo. Sí. Para verle las orejas al monstruo. Qué interesante la historia.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Bueno. Pues en esta habitación ya hemos terminado, chavales. Se tiene que salir por aquí.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
A ver si esta puerta está cerrada. Ahora no se puede subir por aquí, porque está bloqueado. Bueno, chavales, si lo queréis ver completo, nos vemos en el siguiente. Chao, chao. Mira, 32,44 he hecho, de tiempo. He estado muy callado este tiempo para que no se escuchara tanto. Ahora se ve la oreja de ahí, ¿te imaginas? Es que tiene que girarse, no pararse. Ahí está. Tiene que girarse, no pararse. Tiene que ser un giro completo. Sin descanso, porque si no...
Mom said the
7.
basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot. I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Pero esta historia, si no recuerdo mal, te llevaba a una de las habitaciones.
She said after Barbara died,
El juego es
he got as
larguísimo.
far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Walter, murió en el 2005.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive the week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine.
Esta historia
That's
es todo
what
el
kept
rato
me
así.
sane. Having a schedule, living for today.
Se lo
I
toma
always
tal que así.
expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long
Lo
enough,
mismo,
you'll be used to anything.
con diferentes fechas, diferentes épocas. Así
Even a
hasta el
monster
2005.
on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day,
Y de
everything
repente,
just
un día tal, todo...
stopped.
2005.
Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
No sé cuánto dura el juego, pero si no me equivoco,
It's been a week
creo
now, the
que...
longest in 30 years.
Y no pasó
I'm
nada
done
más, o sea...
waiting. I have to leave. Well, I still can.
Hay más planta abajo. Bueno, pues en esta casa tan grande y con tantos secretos,
I know it's out there somewhere.
yo diría de esconderme, de hacer un escondite aquí, porque vamos, en ninguna
Whatever
parte de la
killed
casa me van a
Barbara.
encontrar, desde luego. Porque una casa para jugar al
Mom
escondite, tú.
and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me.
Vale, vamos a ver.
Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I
Claro,
only have a year
después,
left,
después de esto se muere este.
or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy
O sea que
with
debajo
one
de,
little thing.
de la casa había esto.
I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Y pum. Walter, la última vez que se le vio fue en 2005, ¿no?
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Vamos para abajo. Vamos para abajo, chavales. Madre mía, todo lo que hay aquí, tú.
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house,
el juego,
I can only
literalmente no habla del
imagine what
juego.
else she was hiding.
Literalmente el juego está bien hecho para la versión de PS5, o sea, no tiene ningún fallo, tiene buenos gráficos, buena calidad gráfica. Está mejor que el de PS4. Y mira que hace tiempo el de PS4, pues bueno. Lo jugué y creo que me lo pasé, es que no me acuerdo si me lo pasé, chavales. El de PS4. Creo que no me lo pasé. No me acuerdo muy bien, pero llevo tiempo sin jugar.
We made it real.
Pero aquí tenía que haber un puente.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
¿Sabes? Menudo sitio,
Maybe it'd be better if Elvis just died with me.
Está bastante interesante el juego.
But I thought you should know about your family.
Menudo sitio para jugar al escondite. Es que entre la casa, que es muy grande y
tiene
tantos secretos.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as
Que
you probably
literalmente
do
puedes
right
jugar al
now.
escondite aquí. Yo no sé, Y eso que todavía quedan historias por contar y meterse dentro del personaje también. Pero vamos, que esto no termina así, que el juego dura lo que tenga que durar. Que el juego dure lo que tenga que durar.
That history of imagination and stubbornness and madness. Any of it seems possible.
Que el juego dure lo que tenga que durar. Y es bastante interesante. Recomiendo jugarlo 100%. Porque tiene buenas historias, está bastante entretenido, está bastante interesante. Te vas a enterar de la historia de la familia. En resumen, está bien el juego. Lo jugué y está, vamos, buenísimo el juego. Yo recomendaría jugarlo si tenéis el este, chavales.
The pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
Bob, Tanzania, no sé qué, Bob.
3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Lucy, Loopy, Loopy Jr., Daisy, Charlie, Tucker, Coco, Zoe.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Molly Finch, Calvin Finch, Steven Finch, Eddie Finch, Walter Finch, Barbara Finch.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Está muerto, Literalmente eso está muerto.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from.
Gregory Finch, Anne Finch, Gunn Finch. Todos Finch. Todos Finch, chavales. Milton Finch,
She lost
Sahan
two
Finch,
of her
Lewis
brothers,
Finch.
just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Eso sí, lo raro es que la casa se mantenga en pie después de tantos años. Desde luego. Una casa así, yo se hubiera
But looking
destrozado
back on
desde
it
luego.
now, if she told me there was
Porque la
going to be
madera
so
está
much climbing,
oxidada.
I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Los árboles ni te lo imaginas. Lo ves crujen y todo. Están crujiendo y todo los árboles. Vamos a ver. Sube por aquí.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Abre esto. Abre. ¿No lo estás abriendo? Ahora.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime. Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
¿A qué le tiene que hacer una foto?
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
¿Qué le tiene que hacer una foto? Un pájaro.
Aw.
Y se va. Pues nada, eso no le tengo que hacer una foto.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still while I take a picture.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
Ah, es verdad, le tiene que hacer una foto al padre.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
Los peces.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish.
Otro pájaro.
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to... Great shot, Dawn! I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Vaya.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me. Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
El sitio más oscuro, ¿no? Vaya lugar más oscuro, mejor dicho.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Ostras, Gregory. Gregory.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Déjalo en el agua, ¿te imaginas?
Over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello?
Por lo menos no cubre, ¿sabes?
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like.
No recuerdo mal si destrozabas el...
You reminded me so much of Calvin.
Si destrozabas...
Lost in his imagination.
Ay, que no puedo ahora. Ahora, Gregory, trofeo ganado. ¿Lo ves?
Whatever it was, he saw.
Es que esta parte era muy difícil. Porque te tenían que seguir todos los muñecos y tú sumergerte y hacer tararararara.
It sure made him happy.
Ahora la ballena.
I know how silly it sounds.
Madre mía.
But I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
La rana.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish you could have told us about the world he saw.
Claro, su bebé tampoco se le tiene que llenar la ballena tanto, pero vamos. Que el chaval quiere que se muera ahogado.
Hey, there's so much I don't understand. About Gregory. About everything.
Ahí con todos sus amigos.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
Pero aquí ya está muerto él.
I'm sure he's happy.
Aquí el bebé ya está
I
muerto.
want you to be happy too.
Aquí el bebé se ha muerto ahogado porque
Love, Sam.
ya no esto mucho. Gregory. ¿Ves? Gregory murió aquí. Aquí no,
I
ahí.
can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry,
Gus.
and yet
Poema para Gus.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea.
Ah, bueno.
Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard. Before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Gus era el rebelde del patio. Gus era el que la liaba siempre.
I tried to talk him out of it, though he'd never met her.
Ahí
You
está.
don't need a stepmom.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Literal, la liaba siempre. Mira qué voy a hacer.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
¿A dónde? Tenía le ha hecho la peineta. Me ha dicho, ven aquí.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
He visto que ha hecho así el niño.
The rain came down in buckets that
Se va a liar, se va a liar.
that nature might destroy the
Tiene que
tent.
salir, se va a liar.
Thunder sounded
getting much too close and full of angry power. While my father said just make the music louder. I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
Nació en el 69 y murió en el 82.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Si no lo hubiera liado al niño. Gus. A ver, ahora que había que hacer. Es que esta casa es demasiado grande. Pero vamos.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Y aquí es donde durmió ella, ¿no?
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
¿Y ahora qué? Aquí
Religion
está.
was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Qué susto me he dado, digo que sí que ha sido eso. Es el móvil.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Milton.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Pues aquí siempre hay una manera de entrar. Ahora las dos ventanas. Subes esto. Mira, aquí está Milton.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
No, y esto continúa hasta que no termine la historia. Y ya está. Así es como recuerdan a Milton.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Ostras, solo me falta... Ah, no, me faltan 3. Me falta Lewis, Dawn y Eddie. Y ya tengo a todos. A toda la familia completa.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Sí, había que salir por aquí, ¿no? Ah, no, se sale por aquí.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Claro, y luego... Bueno, pues por aquí no es. Es que por aquí no es. Es por el otro. Hay que dar una vuelta completa. ¿Qué os está pareciendo el juego en lo que estoy jugando, chavales? ¿Cómo lo veis? Lo veis bastante interesante, ¿no? Yo diría que es un juego de los más entretenidos a los que he jugado y he
Mom
estado.
definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent
Anda, aquí
more and
tan
more
alta
time
la
in his
casa.
room until Mom got him a job at the
Lewis.
cannery.
Este murió en el 2010.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room, except Lewis.
Hasta que poner un barco que se pueda caer. Ah, vale, se va para ahí. Tengo que ir subiendo poco a poco. Ahora nos quedamos por aquí. El Lewis era un cachimbitas,
Lewis's
madre
room
mía.
smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Lewis Wright. ¿Y esto qué?
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Es pecado, chavales, no os preocupéis. No creo que me lo censure YouTube.
But he withdrew part of himself.
Es un juego. No os preocupéis porque YouTube no me lo va a censurar. No va a pasar nada.
His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small.
Entre que tengo que pulsar el R2.
Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved.
Por aquí no es. Estoy jugando dos minijuegos a la vez. Uno de cortar.
And toads.
O sea que ya trabajaban. Ah, lo tengo que soltar.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. He took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Tan en serio que se cortó la cabeza, ¿te imaginas?
But he found something more. I worried about
Esto
him
continúa, no, esto no acaba.
daydreaming at the cannery.
Sí, literalmente no acaba. Entre que tengo que estar atento a cortar los pecados.
He said Lewis had become a model
Luego,
employee.
a que estoy haciendo el otro minijuego.
Tireless, focus.
Vamos.
Like a
Tengo que
whole
estar,
new
vamos.
Lewis. So I let him go on.
Más pescados.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Anda, mira, tiene un perro. Como amigo nuevo.
On the
Qué
edge of a
random
city he named Lewis Toad. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick.
Imagina tantas cosas que...
Then he
Yo
made
no sé ni lo que se
musicians.
está imaginando. Claro, entre tantos pescados y tantas cosas, se
And
está
songs
imaginando
for
lo
them
que
to
sea.
play. He talked about starting a band.
Ni que fuera flautista
And he was
de
always
Berlín,
humming something.
Mira, todos los ciudadanos.
Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. but his chopping was as reliable as ever.
Estoy equivocando
And one day
yo.
it struck him that all
Mira,
the
¿sabes? Voy a
cheering
dejar un
crowds,
segundo de los pescados porque me
even the
estoy
stones under his
distrayendo
feet,
con lo otro.
were all in his imagination.
Es
So
que
he could
me
do
voy a
whatever
ir
he
y
wished.
no sé.
He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Y ganó.
They begged him to
Pasó,
stay,
pasó.
but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on.
Esto que se mueva solo. Yo mientras voy a hacer los pescados. Yo tengo que hacer los pescados.
New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality.
Es que entre que tengo que hacer dos minijuegos. O sea, dos minijuegos, sí. Que tengo que cortar cabezas a un pescado.
Until one day he
Y que
forgot to
luego
go
tengo
home
que
from the
hacer el
canal.
minijuego del barquito, vamos.
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Ya no estaba, ¿no?
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
Una puesta reina.
handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for
Arcoíris radiantes.
radiant rainbows.
Hombre, ¿cómo me voy a poner lo otro? ¿Estamos tontos? Estamos tontos. Pero lo he tumbado sin querer, ¿eh?
He followed the sound of her
Arpa de plata.
silver harp.
Momento música.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Ahora se me ocurre una cosa. Ahora hay minijuegos completos.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Aquí es cuando se encuentra una princesa, tal.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming.
Ahora el minijuego es real.
And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Bueno, dorado esto tiene más especie a piedra, pero bueno. Tiene más
My
especie a
imagination
piedra
is
que
as
a-
real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Cambio de historia, ¿te imaginas?
We began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Esto no sé si se podrá mostrar, ¿eh? No creo que tenga nada de malo, ¿eh? Bueno, no voy a bajar tanto la cámara. No va a ser que se vea mucho. De todas formas es artificial, YouTube, o sea, no es... no es real. ¡Tú! No puedo hacerle nada a esto. No puedo hacerle nada. No puedo hacer absolutamente nada. Algo que hago con esto.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
Nadie se da cuenta.
The palace would be packed with his companions.
Aquí ya está muerto, ¿vale? Esto se lo estoy imaginando. Aquí ya el tipo ha muerto. Le ha pasado de estar en la pescadería a estar en su mundo.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Porque esto ya se lo estoy imaginando, ¿lo ves? El gato ese es parte de su imaginación. Lo estáis viendo. Todo esto es parte de su imaginación porque él ya está muerto. Él ya no está entre nosotros, está en el cielo. Porque habrá hecho una macabridad y se habrá quitado la vida.
His queen waited, holding his crown.
Con la corona en la mano,
There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
Pensaba que entraba mi madre.
The rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
¿Lo ves? Y ahora le han cortado la cabeza y está muerto. ¿Habéis visto? Vale, pues otra historia quitada.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Hombre, murió en el 2010. Ya van quedando pocas historias, chavales. Ya van quedando poquísimas historias.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
Si no me equivoco, quedan 2 historias más. No entres. Y vuelvo a entrar.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Pues lo que sé sería el Call of Duty, ¿no? Si murió un montón de veces. ¿Ahora para dónde? Tengo que bajar aquí, ¿no? Sí. Lo que no sé es si tengo que seguir arriba o qué. ¿Esto está cortado? ¿Cómo llego a allí? ¿No puedo enganchar a nada? No, tendré que subir ahí. No. Pues nada. Ah, no, es por aquí. Estoy perdidísimo. Claro, eso está roto del tiempo.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Qué lío, ¿no? La habitación. Mira, tiene esta nevera y todo. Tiene esta nevera y todo.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe I should have come sooner.
Pero si Edith ya lo hemos visitado, ¿no? ¿O no? subes o
But
subes.
it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Edith. Mira, aquí está. Ah, no, si de eso yo creo. Edith Finch.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Bueno.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sailed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance.
Ya decía
Or
yo que
that
faltaba
Edie
algo.
had a key to
A ver.
it.
¿Puedo meter ahí? Sí. Esta es la última historia que nos falta.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house.
Joder. La señora. ¿Puedo subir por aquí? ¿O no es
Edith
por aquí?
has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight.
Vaya.
We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Abre esto, ábrelo. No, atrás no. Ábrelo. Ahora, es que tarda en abrirlo y se va para atrás.
There's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way
Ay.
out. It was the first
Si veis que estoy muy
and last
callado, es
time
que quiero que
ever
escuchéis
saw
bien
the
las
old
historias, ¿vale,
house
chavales?
aground.
Esta, si no me
In an
equivoco, es la
earthquake
última
out
historia
in the
y ya
middle
terminamos
of
el
the
juego.
ocean.
O sea, no es tan largo el juego.
They
El juego muchos
called it
pensaréis,
the
es
lowest
muy largo.
tide in a
El juego, no es
thousand
tan- el juego merece la pena jugarlo.
God,
Porque te vas
smelled
enterando de la historia de la familia
I've seen
y
that
de
house
todo.
every day
O sea,
of
yo
my
recomendaría jugarlo si tenéis el extra y terminároslo. Y si queréis sacaros el platino, sacaros el platino.
When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Y si no, pues nada. No veo nada.
I got turned around.
No sé por dónde estoy yendo. ¿Dónde estoy yendo? ¿Dónde narices tengo que ir? Si es que no veo nada. ¿Alguien sabe por dónde tengo que ir?
I started seeing things.
Joder, se me tiene que poner ahora el este.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, I felt like that night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
Este al final era la casa antigua, ¿no? ¿Y cómo entro? A ver, aquí. En realidad algo me falta.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot.
Pero esta es la última historia, esta es la historia de esta.
We both tried to make the best of it.
Hay que hacer esto.
A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
No lo estoy notando, pero el mando palpita al ritmo del corazón, Literal.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Finch. Ahí estoy yo. A Story by Hate Parrows. Pues bueno, chavales, hasta aquí el vídeo de hoy, o sea, el vídeo en directo de hoy. Espero que os haya gustado, os haya entretenido la historia, os haya gustado. Si la queréis ver otra vez entera, lo podéis ver entero. Son bastantes historias. Yo diría que os lo recomiendo 100% este juego, o sea, está bastante interesante. Y antes de pirarme, chavales, deciros que mañana, cuando venga de Teleste, voy a hacer un directito como siempre, pasado lo mismo. O sea, mañana, martes, miércoles y jueves va a haber directo. El viernes no. El sábado y el domingo y el lunes sí. El martes y miércoles también. Y el sábado, que es cuando empieza la temporada, nos veremos también. ¿Vale? Que he pensado decir una frase para despedirnos del capítulo 3 y con música así lenta y bonita. Así que bueno, chavales, me piro ya, ¿vale? Bueno, espérate que ahora no. Gracias, Jonah. Este juego, lo curioso de esta versión, fíjate, es que tiene platino. O sea, tiene platino. En la versión de PS4 no tenía platino, tenía trofeo normal, pero... Oye, no está mal, ¿eh? El juego. Va a ser 1 hora y tanto. Vamos a ver cuánto duran los créditos. Y luego ya me piraré, chavales. Aunque creo que son muy largos los créditos. Y pueden durar 2 horas, pero bueno. Ya digo, jugar a este juego. Merece la pena enterarse de toda la historia. Y si queréis ir a por el platino de este juego, podéis sacaros el platino de este juego. No sé si se me censurarán por poner fotos de niños, ¿no? No creo, ¿no? Es un juego. No creo que me censuren por eso, ¿no? Nathan Gary. Neale Germaninki. Jeff. Jordan. Deborah. James. Héctor Sánchez. Pero los créditos no serán tan esto, ¿no? ¿Lo puedo pasar? No sé si se puede pasar porque... No, creo que no se pueden pasar, ¿eh? Pero sale todo lo que hemos hecho. Bueno, de mientras voy a ver los estos que me he conseguido. Me he conseguido 4, ¿no? 36%. Mira por toda la media de telescopios el tiempo suficiente para escuchar no sé qué. Toma los 2 caminos que llevan a la casa. Déjalo terminar. Deja que el marinero borracho termine su canción. Despeja todas las bolas de la mesa de billar. Vuelve a jugar la historia de Calvin. ¿Sabes? Si puedo elegir, si no me equivoco, a ver, repetir una historia. ¿Sabes? Puedo repetir la historia de... ¿Dónde está Calvin? La puedo repetir si eso. Y ya está. Tampoco me voy a liar a repetir historias, así que nos vemos mañana. Mañana, cuando venga.